Ooh, I am excited for this one. Welcome to Out Motorsports, the channel for cars as you are. My name is Jake and I'm here with the 2025 Polestar 3. This is the brand's second fully electric model here in the United States. It is, as you can tell, a kind of wagony SUV thing, and it's more practical, I think, for a lot of buyers than the Polestar 2, which is a sedan that's kind of wearing a small kitten heel. This one is a performance model. It is dual motors, of course, but it is 517 horsepower and 671 pound-feet of torque. Now, I'm here at a preview event for our local automotive press group, which means I'm only gonna get 20-30 minutes with this car, and this is really gonna be first impressions more than anything. But please let me know if you want to see a full review on this car with a longer-term loan, because I'm happy to try and grab one for a week and get some deeper impressions. But I do like the looks of this. This is something you could fit a family in, or just put, 4 6-footers, that sort of thing. And this is going to be a more traditional body than something like the Polestar 4, which is coming, that's going to be slightly smaller. That's the one that doesn't have the real back window, that uses a camera and all that crazy stuff. This feels fairly traditional. Let's hop inside. I'll show you around the interior a little bit, and then we'll take it for a quick little drive. So first things first, these are retractable door handles. Just a quick little note, kind of neat. They will tuck in when the car is locked and in motion, but looking inside here, this is going to be very similar to other Polestars and some other Volvos. If you've been in any modern Polestar or Volvo product, they are of course related. And this having the gold seat belts means this is a performance model. You get the gold seat belts and the gold calipers. We've got some really nice seats here. They do have extendable thigh bolsters, which I appreciate. Now, I just had the Volvo EX30, and we're gonna find a lot of similarities in this car and the Volvo, namely with some of the control stalks and the seat adjustments. So you still have the same square with button that gives you a lot of adjustments when you push this button different numbers of times. I'll show you some of that in just a second. And then similar stalks for your wipers and your shifter. Now, when we hop in here, one thing that is different with the Polestar versus the Volvo is that you do have this nice screen in front of the driver. I do like that. Now, this is just going to show you your range in miles here, 260, 79% battery, state of charge. If you put your foot on the brake, put it in drive or reverse, then it comes on. Now, one nice thing, you do have a little Google Maps screen here. You can change the view on all this if you would like. And then, of course, you've got your bigger screen over here. Now, I mentioned on the EX30, I didn't love their screen setup because I thought it was not contrasty enough. It was harder to see things. The layout was not super great. This immediately is better. You've got bigger, bolder fonts. You've got dark background with white, bold text. It is just a little bit easier to deal with. Now, you still, of course, have the square with the app icons and everything. You do have Apple CarPlay if you would like that. This runs on Google's Android Automotive operating system, so you can download apps to the car as well. Now, some other quibbles with this are the same as I had with the EX30, namely your climate control is down here. It is, of course, automatic, but these are persistent touch controls. And, it's just, I wish there was physical buttons. We'll see if I warm to this, if I get a longer term loan on this. But you've got the car icon that gives you a couple other things here for common adjustments. And then you've got your bigger settings screen if you want to go through anything and mess with, even your drive controls and that sort of thing. I do think this is generally a better setup than Volvo just for the ease of use. I think it is a little bit better in that regard. One thing I still continue to not like, if we go back to the main quick controls, if I want to adjust my mirrors, once again, you have to tap on driver adjustments, and then you've got your left and right mirrors. Oops, let's go back. And it says you can use the controls on the right side of the steering wheel. So these are now blank buttons, which means if I do this, I now have to just kind of guess, and that will indeed move the mirror. But it's a little odd. I don't necessarily love it. That's also how you adjust the steering wheel and your head-up display. So a little goofy, but more on this to come. Let's go ahead and get this thing moving and see how it is to drive. So one immediate little item of note, I think the seating position is great in here. I'm comfortable as a tall. I've got lots of seat adjustment. The seats are comfortable. I feel like there's plenty of room, and I think there's plenty of room behind me, which is really nice as well. So an immediate A+ for that. Decent headroom. I think the seat could go down a little bit, but I've got it up right now. It always takes me forever and a day to get comfortable in a new car. All right, now I'm going to turn on the performance drive mode because I would like that. And then let's look at other drive configurations here. I want steering feel firm. I want one pedal drive standard. I want the most amount of regenerative braking. And then the suspension has 3 different settings as well. So you've got standard, nimble, and firm. Nimble is the middle setting. I'm going to put it to firm because I would like it to be as that as possible. And then ESC, your electronic stability control, has its full on mode or sport. So I'm going to put it to sport mode, which just takes it down a touch, and we'll go from there. And then what's interesting too is there's a power delivery option for range or performance, and that's going to, I think, give you a little more throttle tip in. It's going to be more aggressive throttle, and they say it will improve performance with better acceleration and handling, which power does not, maybe for how it distributes power, I don't know. Either way, everything is in its maximum attack mode just for this initial setting here. So in a straight line, just cruising, I like this. I really like the seating position. Honestly, having this whole cluster in front of me kind of makes all the difference. Now the problem is I don't know what these buttons do on the steering wheel. They're not labeled. Oh, I made it do something. It changed the view. No, stop. Okay, so this one changes my screen view. It would be much easier if these were just labeled, wouldn't it? All right, I'm tipping into the power to accelerate. It's pretty nice for how the power of the throttle is tuned. So when you put your fingers on these buttons, it shows a little thing in the cluster for what they're going to do. And Lexus does this, and I thought it was clever. I do think it's clever. You know, if you rest your finger, you get a little preview, and then you push and it does the thing. I don't want you to help. I think the more I think about these buttons, the more I don't like them. Across brands, this is not a Polestar problem. This is some of the industry decided we're doing this today, and I just don't like it. I think everything should be, if you're gonna go to the trouble of having real buttons, which we all complain about and grouse about, let's just make them do one thing, make it easy. Now, oh no, I've come to a stop. I might need to accelerate quickly. What does that look like? Okay, solid acceleration. Good general lack of torque steer out of the front motor. With this being a dual motor, you know, we've driven other EVs that have that front motor that have a harder time, whether it's intentionally or otherwise. They just don't put power down in a way that makes it feel super confidence inspiring. That can add playfulness in a sports car, but also in a more utilitarian vehicle like this, the torque steer is kind of unnerving more than anything. Now this is interesting here as we fly through some little corners. Chassis feels pretty composed. This feels nice for what it is. Pretty quick steering right off center. I think the firmness, the weight is actually pretty good here for what kind of car this is. It seems to vector power nicely as you roll into it, like coming out of a corner. And then as we go for the brakes, okay, brake pedal, interesting. Brake pedal is pretty firm at the top of the travel. The initial bite is appropriate, but with the really strong regen, this is the one time I'm ever gonna say this, it's honestly got like a little too much bite or something. Like, it's like I want the pedal to be a touch softer at the very top of the travel before you get into it more, because the regen is doing enough of the work that you expect the pedal to be a touch softer already, but that's like a really minor quibble here. And now if I turn this back to low one pedal drive, nimble suspension, ESC on, not sport, let's take the power delivery to range, turn it all back to its like normal, we're driving to the mall settings. We're gonna do the exact same road in reverse. Let's see how this feels with everything softened up. Okay, immediately noticeable more body roll. However, still feels good body control, which two different things there. I still like the steering. Ooh, I'm gonna turn that back to standard. There we go. Yeah, I still like the steering feel, I think. And okay, interesting. With this turned down, I like the brake pedal feel more too. This is an interesting study in how drive modes and everything can affect all of this. Now this is because I turned the one pedal drive from its maximum setting down to the more standard, well, they call it low, to the middle ground setting. But this, honestly, I like a softer car, especially for something this big. This feels quite nice here. Yeah, sit it on the door handles. That felt good. This chassis feels pretty athletic, actually, for moderate levels of entertainment, like what I'm doing here. That was a quick little, like, what, left, right, left, or right, left, right, whatever it was. And it handled that nicely, I think. So I like this. I was curious. I was Polestar curious. And now I am Polestar more than curious. I'm intrigued. So I am very much looking forward to spending a little more time with this, I think. And if anyone has any questions, please send them my way, because I will absolutely be looking for a longer review of this. And we can talk more about how it is to live with. So thank you so much for coming along. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.